Hi, welcome back to Katie Can't Read. I'm Katie. I can read. And today I will be starting another vlog. So this vlog came to me because I wanted to make a second part of my asexual book recommendations video that I did in November for Asexual Awareness Week. Or was it October? It was last fall. And I'll link it in the cards for you if you want to check it out. But I wanted to do another one of those, and then I said, we haven't read enough. We have not read enough of them for a new video, for a new installment of that. So that's what this is. This is me reading books with ace rep to recommend to you, essentially. So what I'm doing is I will be reading 4 or 5, depending on how I feel about the last one, books with canon ace rep according to many lists I have read. And then I will be giving you updates on both the general story, spoiler-free, of course, because I'm not going to do that to you. Spoiler-free thoughts, but also I will be evaluating how I feel about the representation I've been provided. There are a lot of I've read a lot of the big hitters of your ace rep. We all know I love Loveless by OSEMAN. I've read The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, and then a few others that are the heavy hitters, but those are the 2 biggest, most popular ones, I think. And so today I'll be reading the other really big popular ones, and then some that I feel aren't as well known. So, the first one we have is Let's Talk About Love by Kann. And then we have Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosiee Thor. And then we have Elatsoe by Darcie Little Badger. Rick by Gino. And then finally, if I'm feeling up for it, I will finally read Vengeful by schwab. I did read Vicious in March, and I've been needing to read Vengeful for forever, and people have told me, hey, it's canon ace rep, and I said, let's make it work. Let's make it fit the vlog. Cool. So we're going to dive in, because if I talk too much, then this vlog will be too long and I'll be stressed. But yes, happy Pride Month, everyone. Support your Arrow and Ace community by watching my videos. Just kidding. Remember that the A in LGBTQIA stands for asexuals, aromantics, and agender people. So yes. All right, we're doing this. Hi. So we are 25% of the way into Tarnished Are the Stars, and I'm low-key loving it. Dare I say. I wasn't expecting to love it as much. It's a YA sci-fi book. And it's really interesting in the way of it's in this sci-fi world, which I don't completely understand. Technology and tech in general is banned, but there is this mysterious person called the technician who's going around, and they're part surgeon, part mechanic. And what they're doing is they're building prosthetics or pacers for your heart and installing them in people illegally, which they are not allowed to do because you can't have any technology. And that's technology. And so we're following the technician, and we're also following this prince type character named Nathaniel, and he's our arrow ace. And then we're also following a super spy named Eliza. So, and she's sapphic. So anyway, so far I'm only 25% of the way into this book. So far the representation is good. I'm actually yes, I vibe with this. We very much have it's going to be one of those books where there's not going to be labels, which I don't mind. In a fantasy book, if I saw someone use a label, I'd be that stands out. A label that doesn't exist in their universe. If they used a real our label, I would be this doesn't make sense. I digress. But he's got all of the signs of him being betrothed to this character, and him being but I can't picture myself being married. And I'm oof, been there, buddy. So far, I think it's going well. I think there's actually a quote that I highlighted, and it was something as he'd gotten older, the desire to kiss and sit shoulder to shoulder with a stranger had not come. And I was like, okay, I see you, buddy. Felt that one there. But yeah, I am enjoying this. I'm going to come back more later and we'll discuss more. I don't really understand what's going on. Like, I'm finally like starting to kind of get it, but like in general, I'm like, okay, technician is bad. I mean, the good, like a Robin Hood type, and everyone's out to get them. Cool. Got it. Hi guys, I'm 50% of the way into Tarnished Are the Stars, and I love it. It has been a few days since I read, and that's because life. But I am obsessed with this. It is exciting. It's fun. It's taking me twists. It's fun. I don't really understand what's happening. I do understand that there's like a disease and they're fixing it with illegal technology that they put on hearts, like a pacer, and it's legal. And it's fun. Like, I'm so here for this. I'm smelling a found family. I'm smelling an enemies to lovers moment. I'm smelling it all. I love the aroace rep, especially because it is not our character's entire personality. It is very much a part of who he is, but it's not his entire personality, and he's a part of the story fully and completely on this adventure, but it's not like a coming of age thing where he has to figure it out. I do think there will be more exploration of it in the future chapters, because we're alternating 3 POVs. So I think in his POV we'll get to explore it more because his betrothed is here now. And so I think that's going to stir up some complications, especially when she is not interested in him for other reasons. So I'm very interested to see how this all plays out and to keep going. And I'm going to keep reading now. And just in case you're wondering, I am the greatest grandpa. It's a beautiful day in the park. There were some very cute dogs a minute ago, and I couldn't pet them, so I'm very sad. But this book is good. Highly recommend so far. Unless something goes really wrong, it's like a 4-star. Okay, so I'm sprinting right now. I'm at 67%, but I had to butt in to talk about this scene. So essentially, our aroace prince confesses to his betrothed that he's not attracted to her, and he says, I don't feel the way I should feel about you, and I know, and she says, you feel how you feel. There is no should about it. And oh my god, that makes me want to cry. This is the kind of things that we need to see as aroaces and as part of this community, that we are not broken and whatever, we are whole and it is okay. Okay, so I've gone exactly 1 page, and so then he says, he confesses that he doesn't feel any attraction for anyone, and the betrothed says, I see, and he says, I don't know if there's even a word for it, I'm skipping around a little bit. She says, I don't want to presume, there are myriad ways to understand yourself, and as many words to describe it. You could be asexual if you don't experience sexual attraction. It could be, if you don't experience romantic attraction, you might be aromantic. Could I be both? Eliza smiled. You can be both or neither, or different levels of each. The true beautiful part is you have the rest of your life to decide, and if you never know or change your mind, that's all right. This is a science fiction book, and they're dropping real labels and real conversations about what asexuality and aromanticism is. 10 out of 10 on the representation scale. Absolutely, if you are aroace or wondering what it's like, read this book, because it puts an aroace character who is having really good representation in a position of plot and not in a position of, I'm a coming out story, because he's not. He's in a position of a plot, and it's really good if you want that kind of representation. Oh my god, I am buying this book physically and holding it on my shelf forever. I am obsessed. Hi guys, so I finally finished Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosiee, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you this is the easiest 5 stars I have ever given. I have nothing holding me back from a 5-star. I loved this book. first let's talk about representation. In terms of asexual representation, it's one of my favorite cases of asexual representation I have ever seen. I loved it. It felt so true and yet so unique to this specific character, which is exactly like what I need. Like, yeah, I didn't relate to every single bit of it, but I related to enough of it that it made sense. And I just, oh, so good. As I've said a couple of times, I love that he is a vessel in this story. He's not just a coming out story, or, you know, he's very much got his own journey, and his character development is stunning. Absolutely stunning. On top of the representation, I thought this book was exciting and fun and criminally underrated. It was really fun, really unique. The world was really fun. I loved the characters. I loved how strong everyone was. I loved the plot. I loved the plot twists. I loved the moments of friendship. I loved the moments of fighting. I loved all the knife fights. I loved all of it. And I never really thought I was going to be a sci-fi girl, but I loved this. Everyone needs to read this, okay? This is my new agenda. In addition to there being a central aroace character with POV and his own journey, there's also a wonderful sapphic relationship on the side that is just beautiful and really well done. It has a moment of like insta love, but it's less like insta love and more like insta attraction, which I think makes sense for them. They're really well done. I will say the only thing I kind of didn't like, the beginning is really slow. Like until the 50% mark, the book is slow. But it's all world building and all the fun stuff. But it was a rough like first 100 pages to get through for me. But that's just because I'm always a lot confused when I start a new book, especially a new book of sci-fi / fantasy / whatever. But truly, at the end of this, it is the easiest 5 stars I've ever given. Wow, you guys, I will not be shutting up about this book for a very long time. I cannot wait to buy it physically. I loved it. When I was going into this, because it was a book I'd never even really seen anyone talk about, it's super low rated on Goodreads, and it was one of those things where when I got it off of Libby, because I read it because I found out there was an aroace character who was a central character, and I was like, oh, vlog. I essentially got it off Libby and was like, well, this could go one of 2 ways. This will either be the best book I've ever read, or it's going to be a DNF. Because I feel like that's always how it goes for me when it's a book that no one's talked about. And safe to say, one of the top 10 of the year. And I fell in love with this. I would like to get it in physical so I can go through and just tab those so many beautiful quotes. The prose in this is so well done. It's very quotable. There's a lot of really powerful, strong quotes. Like, it's not like the most like flowery, descriptive Maggie Stiefvater prose, but it's just every once in a while there's this quote that hits so hard. Like, let me see if I can find one. Okay, here's this beautiful quote from page 322. Not a spoiler, it's super taken out of context. It matters. It matters what happened to your heart, but not in the way you think. It matters because this disease has hurt you. It matters because others use it to excuse their bigotry. It matters because this is who you are, but it's not all you are. It does not make you weak, nor does it make you strong. You make yourself one or the other through the choices you make. Like, hard-hitting quotes, tattooable quotes throughout this entire book. I was highlighting like crazy. Highly recommend. Go check this out from your library. Go buy it. I loved it. Thank you, Rosiee Thor, for this book. Chef's kiss. Hi, vlog. So I never updated you. But yesterday I read 2 more books for this vlog because I was flying all day. And so when I fly, I just kind of like hyperfixate in a book. And I am afraid of vlogging in an airplane. So anyway. Yesterday on the plane, the first book I read was Rick by Gino, and I loved it. I thought it was really good representation for what it's like to be questioning being ace, and I really enjoyed it. The only thing that I didn't, well, it was a middle grade, so take that. I think it does a really good job for being a middle grade book and for its target audience being middle graders. So I know I'm out of the target demographic, and I know that affects how I felt about it, but I also tried to keep in mind that I'm not the target demographic for it. So I wasn't expecting more out of it than I got. It really delivered in what I got. I loved the themes of it. I loved the soul searching. I loved the figuring out who you are, and the fact that at the end it's never defined because he's young and he can feel it out his entire life. I thought that was really beautiful. I thought the queer acceptance these kids have is just stunning. It couldn't have been my youth, my young middle school age. Yes. What else do I feel about that? I liked it a lot. I did think that it was, I don't know. It was almost just it's hard when they're so young, because some of it I was like, they're talking very maturely. They're 12. You know what I mean? Which is fine. I liked the representation. I thought it was really good representation. So it was very good, very sweet. What was I going to say about it? There was something specifically I wanted to say about it that I cannot remember at this time. I really liked how it dealt with, dropping toxic friends, even if you think that you like them. I really liked that aspect of it. I liked the, just the overall vibes of the story. It was very sweet, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I would have, I wish that it was a little bit more complex, but I also get it because it's for 12-year-olds. I also felt like if the characters had been 7th or 8th graders instead of 6th graders, it would have been better for me personally, but I also know I'm not the target demographic, so I am okay with it. So 4 stars. I think it did what it's supposed to do, and if I was in the target audience, I would have been obsessed with it. And then after that, I read all of Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. Yes, this is Ace Rep. This is fun Ace Rep because, okay, so pause for a second before we talk about Vengeful. I want to say about the representation in Rick is it's very textbook representation, where it's yes, we are representing the asexual community, which I love. I love a coming out and coming of age story. I do wish there's more along the lines of coming out. I did love the conversations that they had about feeling like you're too young to identify as something, and there was a lot of conversations about, oh, you're just a late bloomer, which everyone I know who is ace has heard that, and I've heard that even at my age. I did almost feel like some of the discussions about girls and, sexuality was a little bit premature, in terms of his friends, but I also don't remember what it was like to be 12, and also, as an aroace person, I never felt attraction, so I don't know how accurate that is. It felt jarring for me to be this 12-year-old is really talking about wanting to see a girl naked. Okay. I digress. On a representation scale, Rick is a 5 out of 5, especially for young representation, if you're questioning your asexuality. Yes, highly recommend Rick. Okay, now let's talk about Vengeful. So I read Vicious in March, and I loved it. And then someone was like, okay, you got to read Vengeful, because Vengeful has kann and ace rep. And there is. I'm not going to go into the plot of Vengeful because it's a sequel. But essentially, Vengeful does confirm that one of our main characters, Victor Vale, who I'm low-key obsessed with, what an interesting character, is aroace, and I live for that. Well, maybe he's just ace. I digress. I am obsessed with casual asexuality, I love a coming of age story. I love a coming out story. Do not get me wrong. However, nothing hits better than when I have a book in my hands and a character is just casually ace. They're living their life, doing crime or going on an adventure or whatever, and they just happen to be ace. And that's kind of what Victor Vale is. Victor Vale, when they kind of there's kind of a little internal monologue where he's talking about how he never felt sexual attraction to some chick. it was more of like he was brushing it off. He's like, yeah, whatever. I have bigger issues, like revenge. And I'm like, I respect that, because I feel like for a lot of people that I know that are in the asexual community, we don't hyperfixate on the fact that we're asexual all the time. It's very much like, I just am on a trip to 7-Eleven to go get a Slurpee, and who cares if I don't want to have sex? Like, I feel like that's more the asexual experience. So I think in that regard, it is great representation. Great job, V.E. Schwab. Love it. However, I wouldn't say this is like, I wouldn't be like, hello, would you like to read an ace book? Like, I feel like it's just good casual ace rep for the ace people. But I also am like, yeah. I mean, I'd still put it on a list of, like, books with ace rep, but I wouldn't, like, drop it on people and be like, this book is an ace book. Like, there's other reasons why I would pitch the book other than it being for the representation. Does that make sense? I guess it makes sense. I gave Vengeful 4.5 stars because I didn't like it as much as I liked Vicious, but I still really enjoyed it. And it was good that I took a break in between the two because it takes place 5 years later. Anyway, now I'm going to start Let's Talk About Love by Kann. Very excited. Very excited. I think it's going to be a nice quick read. I'm going to tab it. I have my little flaggies. We're going to tab it. We're only going to use purple tabs. Ace writes. And now I am done with this vlog clip. Sorry that I didn't do any other, like, updates for those two. We were flying. So then after this, I think I have just one left, elatsoe, and then we're done. Cool. Hi guys, so let's talk about love. I think I am almost halfway into Let's Talk About Love by Kann, and I'm really loving this. I'm really loving this. So it is about Alice, and she is biromantic asexual, and she is feeling attracted to this guy, and she doesn't know what it means, and so it's very much her, like, figuring out what this means for her asexuality. Very interesting read. I very much appreciate it in terms of, like, the representation. The representation, this is incredible, by the way. It's very rare that I see an asexual character with a romantic alignment. A lot of the times they are aroace or non-existent. So it's just really cool to see a character who loves love and who has been in relationships before, and it's very cool like that aspect. Also, there's a lot of discussion about aesthetic attraction, and that's not something we talk about a lot, is aesthetic attraction. I love it. I love that there is a very high emphasis on aesthetic attraction and all this stuff. In terms of, like, book quality, like, representation, excellent. In terms of book quality, it's not my favorite book I've ever read. It's a little, I don't know, I just kind of want it to move a little faster than it is, but that's a me problem, not a here problem. So, it is a good book, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. Hi guys, so I just finished, like a day or two ago. I have been struggling with this vlog, but I've just kind of finished Let's Talk About Love by Kann, and this is one of my favorite new ace rep books. I really enjoyed it. Completely and thoroughly enjoyed this story. I think I'm giving it 4 stars, even like a flat 4 stars, and that's only because I was very excited to see a romance book with an ace character in the center. And then that's not what it was. And that's okay. That's okay. But with a character who's biromantic and asexual, I feel like the exploration of a relationship with that is much more interesting to me than a character trying to understand what this means for their sexuality now that they have, like, a crush again. And not just like a crush, but like a crush, you know? And I personally, like, fine, but, like, in my personal experience, I would have really loved to have seen a story about an ace character who's in a relationship and they're figuring it out, and that's what it, because we never get that as ace people. We never get to see what it's like, you know. It's always a coming of age story. It's always a what even am I story, and to have a story that isn't a what am I story would have been so powerful, but instead it was a what am I story and not a another kind of story. I do, however, think this book is so important. I think this is the most important book you can read if you are, you don't know, like, how you're feeling. You're like, I still kind of have crushes on people, but I don't know how I feel about sexual attraction. Like, this is the book for you. It's very, very fun to read a book about a character who's not aromantic as well as asexual. I feel like I've never had that happen to me. I have read a ton of aroace books, but I haven't read a lot of ace books with a different romantic orientation, and so that is just really cool. And so to have an author who wrote this is just really, really special, and this book is very, very special to a lot of people, and it will be special to a lot of people, and I think you should read it. For my personal taste, I just wish I got more of a exploration of a relationship, an exploration of that, as opposed to an exploration of her inner feelings. It was very good. It felt like every other contemporary novel I've ever read. I tabbed a bunch of moments that I related to, or moments that I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen an author put that into words before. I love it. Loved that. So my hold for elatsoe did come through, and that's by Darcie Little Badger, and I am deciding that I'm going to read it, but not vlog it. I will be reading it, but I'm not going to vlog it because I really want this video to go up the day after tomorrow, and so I would prefer to just read that one stress-free. And so that is this. That's why Let's Talk About Love is the last book we are reading together in this vlog. This has been a really crazy vlog. I'm sorry this vlog was not great. I've been going through a crazy bit of life change. I just moved. I had the most intense move ever, where I've moved all of my stuff from New York, and then I spent 3 days in my hometown, and then I moved into my new place in LA, which is beautiful and I love it. And then I went home for 3 days to take care of my dogs while my parents were out of town, and so it's just been a really hectic time. And so I'm sorry if this vlog was not perfect. I'm also having a little bit of creative block as a YouTuber, and that's totally fine, and we're making it work, and I love it. I love this book. I love reading books with y'all. Lots of fun vlogs coming soon, lots of fun videos coming soon, but I really wanted to get this one out before Pride Month ended, so that is why we're ending here and not ending with elatsoe by Darcie Little Badger. So to recap, the books we read were, well, Tarnished Are the Stars. Was that our first? Yeah, Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosiee Thor, in which case I give that a 5 stars, nearly a perfect book. And then we read Rick by Gino, and I gave that a true 4-star. Wonderful middle grade story about coming to terms as ace and never really fully labeling it. It's very healthy, very beautiful, loved it. And then I read Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, which is really fun because there's an asexual main character, but also it's not all about his asexuality. It's barely mentioned, so it's very fun to see an asexual character being other things than asexual. I love reading about that. I love it when it's just a casual thing. And then finally we read Let's Talk About Love by Kann, and this is about a biromantic asexual main character who gets a crush on her co-worker, and it's just wonderful. So yes, I highly recommend all 4 of these books I read. I think they're all wonderful. If you're looking for ace books to fill your shelves, these are the ones to do it with. Especially Tarnished Are the Stars. Like, y'all, go read Tarnished Are the Stars. I loved that book. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Support ace creators by supporting me. I will see you in the next chapter. Bye!